What if I told you one of the biggest mistakes Star Wars fans could make with The Mandalorian and Grogu is expecting it to be something it was never trying to be? Because after reading the early reactions, after seeing the discourse online, and after watching the marketing machine go into absolute overdrive, I think we seriously need to talk about expectations before walking into the movie theater. And honestly, I think if we go into this film expecting a fun adventure with Djarin and Grogu, we're probably going to have a really good time.
This is the way. This is the way.
Welcome to Fatherly Fandom. I'm your host, Chris, and if you love Star Wars breakdowns, deep dives, and honest conversations and all things nerdy, you're absolutely in the right place. So hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to click that bell icon because YouTube loves turning off notifications, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content coming to the channel, you'll definitely want those notifications turned on. Now, guys, the early reactions for Mandalorian and Grogu are exactly what I expected them to be. Some people are saying it's a blast, other people are saying it feels like a larger episode of the Disney Plus show. Some critics are calling it a fun popcorn movie, while others are saying it doesn't feel big enough for theaters. And honestly, that's perfectly fine with me, because I think somewhere along the way, fandom forgot something really important. Entertainment is supposed to be fun. Not every Star Wars project has to reinvent the franchise. Not every movie has to completely redefine the lore. Not every story needs galaxy-shattering stakes or massive philosophical commentary. Sometimes a movie can just be a fun ride, and sometimes you just want to sit down in a theater with your family, watch Mando blast some stormtroopers, watch Grogu do adorable Chaos Goblin stuff, hear Ludwig Göransson's music blasting from IMAX speakers, and leave the theater smiling. And from everything we've been hearing so far, that's exactly what this movie sounds like it's trying to be. I keep seeing people online saying, well, it just feels like a bigger episode of the show. Okay, and that's literally what many of us loved about The Mandalorian in the first place. The Mandalorian was never Andor. It was never trying to be. It's a Lone Wolf and Cub story set in Star Wars. It's a space western. It's an adventure serial. It's a dad and son traveling through the galaxy getting in trouble. That's the DNA of this series. Andor exists to give us a layered, complex, politically rich story that deeply examines rebellion, sacrifice, fascism, and the cost of war. And it's incredible because of that. But The Mandalorian exists for a completely different reason. It exists to remind us why Star Wars is fun. It exists to give families something they can watch together. It exists to give kids a hero in shiny armor and a tiny green gremlin they absolutely adore. Both of those things can coexist. Both of those things can be good. But the problem happens when fans expect one project to be like the other. If you walk into The Mandalorian and Grogu and expect Andor-level writing, deep political intrigue, or some massive cinematic masterpiece that changes the entire future of Star Wars forever, you might walk out disappointed. But if you walk in expecting a fun Star Wars adventure about Mando and Grogu, I honestly think you're going to have a blast. Because everything coming out of these early screenings, the movie sounds very focused on exactly what the title promises: The Mandalorian and Grogu. Not the future of Star Wars, not Avengers Endgame in space, not the most important Star Wars movie ever made. It's about Djarin and Grogu going on another adventure together, and honestly, I'm good with that. Going into this movie, I was getting worried. Not because of the concept, not because of Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni, but because of the marketing. Guys, we have gotten so much footage, so much advertisement, so many TV spots, so many sneak peeks, so many featurettes. It's honestly starting to feel like Lucasfilm was trying a little too hard to convince people this was an event film. And personally, I think they should have just kept it simple. Give us one teaser trailer, show us Mando, show us Grogu, show a few cool action shots, and let the audience come. Because let's be real, Mando and Grogu sell this movie. You don't need to bombard audiences with trailer after trailer after trailer. Spend the money on the movie itself instead of advertisement. Spend it on the effects, spend it on the writing, spend it on making this project the best thing it can possibly be. And honestly, some of the criticism online probably got amplified because people saw too much beforehand. But here's where I stand now. I'm walking into this movie with lower expectations. And weirdly enough, I think that's a good thing. Because when you lower the impossible expectations, you give yourself room to actually enjoy the experience. Now, that doesn't mean I won't criticize this film if there are problems. If the story is weak, I'll say it. If the pacing is messy, I'll also say that. If the movie doesn't work for me, I'll be honest about it with you guys. But I also think fandoms have developed this habit where we walk into a movie already prepared to hate it, already looking for flaws, already deciding what's wrong before the lights even go down. And somewhere along the way, we forgot how magical Star Wars can feel when we just let ourselves enjoy the ride. I mean, look at the reactions from actual fans online. Some people are literally saying they'd happily watch 2 hours of Din and Grogu just existing together because they enjoy these characters that much. And honestly, I get it, because at the core of this franchise, Star Wars has always been about wonder, adventure, escapism, family, hope, and fun. Sometimes we overcomplicate that. And I think Dave Filoni understands that better than most people working on Star Wars right now. I trust the direction he's taking the universe. I trust that he understands these characters. And even if every project doesn't become my favorite thing ever made, I still appreciate that there's a genuine love for Star Wars behind it. The Mandalorian brought Star Wars back to families in a huge way. Kids love Grogu, parents love watching it with their kids, casual fans jumped back into Star Wars because of this show. And honestly, that matters. Not every project has to target the exact same audience. Star Wars is big enough for all kinds of storytelling. We can have Andor, we can have The Mandalorian, we can have animation, we can have darker stories, we can have lighter stories. That variety is its strength, not its weakness. So when I walk into The Mandalorian and Grogu, I'm not expecting the greatest Star Wars movie ever made. I'm not expecting some gigantic lore-changing event. I am expecting a fun Star Wars adventure with characters I already love. And honestly, that sounds pretty good to me. But now I want to hear from you guys. What are you expecting from The Mandalorian and Grogu? Are you excited, nervous, somewhere in the middle? And do you think Star Wars fans sometimes forget to just enjoy the ride? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And share this video because it really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, stay nerdy, my friends. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you next time.